Why should the U.S. ban the law firms partnered with the CCP from practicing in America? When China joined the WTO, the service business market of China had the most potential for American companies. Like financial service, legal service is American law firms most advantageous than other countries. Chinese companies want to enter the American market. American companies want to enter the Chinese market. Both need the service of American law firms. However, 20 years later, American law firms did make a fortune with Chinese companies, but not with American companies. Why? As we stated before, most American companies lost their properties and business in China market, exactly because of the Chinese legal system won't protect their legal right, and lawless CCP and Chinese companies beat American companies in Chinese market, and those American law firms partners with Chinese companies won't and can't help American companies. Why? Conflict interest. How law firms become successful in a lawless society? Won't they extend their lawless practice back to the American judicial system? These law firms are still using their legal know-how to help those lawless Chinese companies getting American market share and American capital. Is this fair to those law firms which never partnered with the CCP? How can the American judicial system check and punish those CCP law firms? After those American companies lost the Chinese market, how can they get fair legal protection against CCP law firms in America? Who will represent those lost American companies when many famous American law firms are representing CCP companies? When Mr. Miles Gu was attacked by those CCP law firms as CCP's #1 enemy, Mr. Miles Gu received political asylum from the United States. How can Mr. Gu get a fair trial without his legal right to subpoena CCP law firms? Paul Hastings has hundreds of Chinese companies as clients and has CCP members as their senior partner in the Chinese branch. Isn't this enough conflict of interest? It's time to sanction these CCP law firms.